everyone. Welcome to the venue on 35th Street. How is everybody feeling this evening? All right, it's Feature Sunday, National Poetry Month edition. Y'all can get a little more excited than that. How's everybody feeling this evening? Fantastic. All right, for those of you who don't know, April is National Poetry Month. We get together on the last Sunday of every month and we put together a feature show with featured artists. This month, they're all poets in honor of National Poetry Month. And your lineup is as follows, and not in this particular order. We've got Thomas Croneberger, so make some noise for him. Keep that going for Shania Lady S. The incomparable Mr. Jeff Hewitt. We have J. Scott Wilson. Sashily Kling. James Bane. Jarrell E.S. Clark. And this guy named George, who he writes stuff down on paper and then he says it out loud and he does poems and shit. He's okay. He's all right. My name's George. And let's see. A couple of quick rules before we get started. Our door tends to slam as you walk in and out of the building, so if you need to step outside for whatever reason, please be mindful of the door. Table chatter to non-existence, please. Let's make sure that we show all our performers all the respect they deserve. Any of you who are new to a poetry reading, we don't get paid. So this is money. So make sure you give your performers a lot of love and a lot of energy. We're probably going to do a little bit of crying tonight, a little bit of laughing, maybe some screaming, every once in a while a hoot or a holler. So, that being said, is everybody ready to have a good time? Yeah! Excellent. Okay, very quickly actually, for my performers, I am videotaping the event. If I find myself in a position where I need to change the battery or the memory card, I'll pause you briefly in between your poems so we can make sure that we get all your material onto the tape. And I think that about covers everything. Yes. Oh, we have a gentleman in the building who would like to take some photography. So do any of our features have a problem with him taking pictures? All right, so we're good. You do what you got to do tonight, brother.
Thank you guys.
We get them shots too, man.
So let's see. I promised Sashily that I would open with a short poem so that I could break the ice for her because she's our first performer tonight. And I don't know. I'll do this one. And yeah. So I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you guys want to hear a love poem, or do you want to hear no love poem? Nice, good. All right. So I'll be adjusting my set for the evening. I'm trying to think of what I have committed to memory.
The childhood one. The
Thundercats one?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that with you. Anybody in here 30 plus? That's willing to admit it? All right, cool. So, you may catch some of these references. And I am a very, very firm supporter of embracing your insanity and your kookiness and your strangeness. And I think a lot of that comes with a certain level of innocence. And with that innocence comes a certain purity, too. And I think a lot of the things that influence us as children, we carry into our adulthood. And I was at work one day, and this is back when I still smoked cigarettes, I was outside taking a smoke break. And there used to be this gigantic puddle that formed in the middle of the parking lot where I worked. And there was a customer, a man with his son. His son had to have been about 5. And as they approached the puddle, the man walked around it, and the little boy ran right through it. And that got me thinking about innocence and what it looks like after it's lost. And that contrast, and that kind of led me to this piece. They say I've gone mad. I say, I've just made a rational adjustment to an insane world. I haven't lost my marbles. I've given them away. I do not have a screw loose. I had it completely removed. I haven't lost touch with reality. I simply cut off my hands, and I didn't fall off the deep end. I did a triple somersault swan dive cannonball while taking a picture of myself with a waterproof camera on the way down. Adjust your 3D glasses and you might see my 4th dimension, but consider those blue and red lenses like the pills in the Matrix. Perhaps IMAX could make you see the big picture. So you tell me that I'm lost, that I've somehow gone astray, while you consult your GPS to tell you where you are and where you're going, as if that course has been charted. My road is not less traveled, it is untraveled. My thoughts wander whimsically through a wonderful wilderness of wild things that only Max and I seem to understand. I've traveled through the Goblin King's labyrinth upon yellow brick roads that led to One-Eyed Willie's treasure. I walk through wardrobes that lead to tea parties with madmen. And I feel at home there. I rode a bicycle across the silhouette of the moon with an alien in a newspaper basket. I busted ghosts in New York City, outran a boulder in an ancient temple, fed my mogwai after midnight, then gave it a bath. On purpose. I fought off flocks with Hitchcock. I critiqued the night gallery, went to the outer limits of the Twilight Zone, and came back with some amazing stories. I rode a Pegasus with Ray Harryhausen, battled a Cyclops with the Argonauts. I was told a never-ending story in the land of the lost, and I know the fate of our planet if we don't prove we're smarter than those damn dirty pigs. I learned ninjutsu from a mutant rat. I know that cavemen used dinosaurs as construction equipment and woolly mammoths as showers. I know the secret to gummy berry juice. I speak fluent Smurf. I know the Care Bear stare, and I know that knowing's half the battle. I've gotten dangerous with Darkwing Duck, activated the Wonder Twins. I solved mysteries with a dog out of the back of a hippie van, and I stood before the gates of Castle Grayskull with the Sword of Omen high above my head, shouting, "Thunder! Thunder! Thundercats!" I am your Cheshire Cat in the Hat. Your Willy Wonka gone bonkers. I am your demented cross between Dr. Seuss and Robert Frost, Ronald Dahl and Aristotle, Mary Shelley and Shel Silverstein, Stephen King and Mother Goose. Nonsense, you say sensibly. But you speaking sense makes you no less mad than I for speaking nonsense. Did that make sense? See, I'm not sure when it happened, but we forgot about simplicity. Somewhere along the way, we forgot how to play. Do you remember the day you put your toys down? Or the weekend you slept through your Saturday morning cartoons? Or the first time you walked around the puddle instead of splashing through it? You tell me I'm insane, as if insanity, innocence, and imagination didn't exist as some sort of Middle-earth Triforce Triad Trinity. You tell me that I'm crazy, but the craziest thing I can think of is to see this world as it is and not as it could be. My madness is not a breakdown. It's a breakthrough. So savor the silly, absorb the asinine, relish the ridiculous. Go ahead, break through. Go off your rocker, go bananas, go crazy, go nuts. Speak to me in a language you made up. Lose your mind. You'll be amazed what you might find once you do. Thank you. So is everybody ready to go a little crazy tonight? Y'all seem very semi. Is everybody ready to go a little crazy tonight? Much better. Good. All right. Our first performer, she is a Venue alum. She used to come to the open mics all the time. Very excellent writer. Every once in a while, I'm lucky enough to open up my inbox and see a message from her with something she wants me to check out or critique, and it's always a pleasure to do so. Please, please help me welcome to the stage Miss Sashily Kling.
Got more stuff up here than normal, you see, right? I got the Facebook message from George, and I was like, okay. So, get right into it. Ode to my spark. She's a ball buster, street smart, cookie drinking, sarcasm and wit with her. Daily tea, 9th grade bride, tango, troop dancer, long legs flick, fold and follow, string guitar's beat of her own rhythm. Too young to be a mother, too in love to care. Old Blue Eyes singing sweet, soft melodies. Transition TV, I Love Lucy to Technicolor sheen. Spanish Harlem took notice. Neither jets nor sharks shook her out of duty against stereotype of single mother of three. Sharp tongue held, bitch, what you looking at? A fine edge. Common sense never stopped her intelligence, moving milestones into mountains, capturing wild beasts that beat against cage, rib borrowed, not stolen, for generations to come. White coat crushes hope, negatively positive results. Cure creates death, slowed to a crawl, body betrayed, spark gone, flesh cold, eyes closed. Goodbye, Grams. I miss you. Memory made. How do I say goodbye to a man I hardly knew? Regret tastes funny on my tongue, reaching out with a child's wish, expecting phone calls that never came, conversations to standstills, generation gap, unfulfilled. New no-name brand sneakers every winter, short visits every summer. Our migrations miss each other's voyages south, you to Miami, me to Puerto Rico. Did you plan it? Purposefully pushing me away, complaining that you never see me, doing absolutely nothing to change. Spring sprung anew. Another year without, another memory we didn't make, another regret. 10 years have passed, meeting your great-grandson for the very first time, stuck in a hospital bed, wires and cables connected, a freakish sideshow Pinocchio. Finally, a memory made. How do I say goodbye to a man I hardly knew? I'm not sure, but it hurts. Mundo lost. Who's in bed with Papi? Slip through defenses erected like Capitán Andrés Vázquez Botello de Carrera at the Battle of San Juan. It's an invasion, pushing past door frames, framing innocence lost in seconds. Ay, Dios mío, that is not my mother. Still, standing still, hands tight, mouth mute, gasp betrays por qué. Confused clarity. Left, right, where? Lost. Father's face crumbles, distraught, dismayed, destroyed. Perdón. Perdón. Watching luggage in taxi trunk, airplane headed, gone. Over, mumbling over. Nena, I love you. Stop crying. This is home. Mother's words slithered sideways, wiping dirty tears, unwilling to listen. No quiero. American dream sullied. Unsmiling Esau teachers teaching unwanted formats to unwilling victims, alien concepts, twisting Casablanca to White House. Brain reprogrammed. English does not sit on my still tongue, tied to my past, searching for a reason, any, to hear my father's tongue in this foreign world. And for my last piece, one word. My sun-kissed skin creates questions asked by cold, silent eyes, tight lips smiling civilly, a masked monster, politically correct. Can she speak English? I gasp. Thin threads rip my last shred of courtesy. I try to grasp that thin line of conscious restraint in my fingertips. Blood rushes to my eyes, blind, not deaf. My sun-kissed skin confuses creatures of comfort, living Pinocchio lives, morals held in disbelief. Mine or theirs? What if she steals the jewelry? I stalk predatory mouths telling tawdry tales, race, unforgivable language, broken history repeats without challenge, stereotype of the wrong picture judged through the wrong lens. My sun-kissed skin speaks stories of bloodlines intermingled by love and brutality, ancestors seeking refuge and respite. She's not really American, right? I sputter, a dead response on my tongue. One word resounds, a gong against my head, unheeded, unwanted, unimaginable. Spick. Thank you.
You good? One more time for Sashily, everyone. All right. That was an excellent way to start us off this evening. Is everybody ready for their next reader? Yeah! All right, excellent. This next gentleman is, first of all, a prolific writer. I really enjoy his work. I tend to really relate to a lot of his work very much. He comes to the open mic on a regular basis, and this feature for him is long overdue. So please welcome to the stage, J. Scott Wilson.
Let me arrange for a second. Some of you know sometimes I have props. I also have a poor memory and blindness, so I need this too. I'm going to have everything, George. I have a couple tables and a drink. All right, thank you very much for having me, Venue.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Jay.
Some of you know my darker and miserable, depressing stuff, so I'm not going to hit you that hard tonight. April, as Poetry Month, has been really great at expanding my menu that I'm going to offer you tonight. I'm going to hit you with an older one now, so that one's a little depressing because it's about it. It's called, Who is the Pet Here? I don't usually take my depression outside and walk it around. But then this one's a little bit nicer, lighter, but it's about what brings a lot of us here. It's called Therefore I Am. I write to set some beasts free. I write to color into you with me. I write hoping to add to your beauty. I write to get you to consider my ugly, my happy, my sad, my smart. I write to ask you to help me with my dumb, with my hurt, with my poor fit, with my heart. I write to win. I write when I've lost and learned and earned and been burned. I write when I'm out of things to do. I write when I have a list as long as you. I write to turn the giant warrior into a tiny warrior. And when I write, I assemble a tiny army.
Nice.
When I've written, I've built a wall, only to write you an encouragement to make it fall. I write to talk to God, but even then, I still give you all a nod.
Snaps.
Some of you know this one. It's going to have an audience participation portion. I don't usually get the audience to participate, but y'all bring me to the stage. All right. If you've been lonely anytime in the past year, if you've been forgotten, if you've been left behind, if you haven't been called back, if you've been dumped, anytime in the past year, stand up for me. Nice.
Word. My people. My people. Shit.
No, just stay.
Stay? All right.
It's kind of short. This is my army. These are the little soldiers I just pulled out. So when I get to a certain part, you have a line. When you hear me say the right piece of paper and the right scene, I'll do this, and I want you to say, I'd color the shit out of that.
Word up. I'm so down.
For the open spaces. Yeah, I'm like the gray or white or baby blue or one of those other crayons you never take out of the box. You'd rather leave me and the page alone where it needs a color than take me out of there so I get dry and waxy and break again and again and again. But even then, if someone had the right piece of paper and the right scene, I'd color the shit out of that. So take me out and use me. The worst thing that can happen is that I complete your scene.
That's it? I wanted to say it more than once. I was ready for round 2. I'll color the shit out of that. Fucking right I will. Shit.
All right.
Bars.
All right. Like a love poem, but angry. 1. Stop using hungering in your poem. It reminds my fingertips of their hunger to play with your hair. 2. I've been in love, and I've walked around with armloads of lust, and I've been caught between wanting my glances to be caught and wanting someone to remain oblivious so she can be spared the discomfort of my attention. 3. 3 would promise to marry me, who never did. 3 would promise to never leave, who should have left mercifully right then. There was the one who promised we'd go nude sunbathing in the middle of Richmond and she'd fix my TV. She did keep another promise to break my heart. 2 have promised to take me away to Australia. 2 have promised me that they'd save me from some evil predecessor. One of those promised that I would cheat with her. The other became the next evil predecessor, open-ended to this day. I'd rather you tell me you love me and only kind of mean it, or not mean it at that moment, or not really mean it at all, than to make me a promise that you won't even possibly keep. Instead of wrapping me around your finger, wrap something of yours around mine. I stopped crooning about such things as promises. Marrying me will not make you immortal, and promises have sidetracked this love poem. 4. We usually hang our hopes upon the hook of the crescent moon. I'm going to hang my hopes on the eyes across the room. 5. I have yet to write that poem about the returned box of marital toys. If I had a sex toy for every time I gave my body to a woman who didn't understand me, who wouldn't even begin to try to understand me, who couldn't even learn the language that I am written in, then we could take those and ride them up the highway and take over Richmond's poetry scene. 6. Give me your heart, she said in 4 phases. First, playful and sexy. 2nd, wanting to hold it lovingly. 3rd, wanting to shelter and to heal. 4th was demanding and angry. Everything that kills me makes me wish that I was stronger. 7. Like the pretty little one at poetry on vacation from her husband, she, in deep conversation and investing, then stops abruptly, because the next thing she was going to say was that talking to me makes something inside swell. I don't get to know either point, so I just live on in lonely hell. 8. I'm afraid to write the poem to that woman that all the women I fall in love with turn into. So I'm going to write a sappy little love poem, and then I'll write the opposite of every single line to the point of micromanaged irony. 9. How do you love someone who doesn't want to love you? How do you love someone whom you don't want to love? 10. How can a poet switch to such an angry tone during his love poem. How can such a dichotomy be in the same head at the same time? Won't such a split twain such strong feelings eventually turn into something we can all feel across the room? Could it be something so palpable that the feeler's head splits, literally, like the figurative gut spillings that we've seen so far? 4. We usually hang our hopes upon the hook of the crescent moon. I'm going to hang my hopes on the eyes across the room. Knock on the door in front of my hollowed out tree. See if there's room for you to stash what you need to survive your next winter.
Whoa.
Not another love poem with stupid birds and daisies until someone walk up with enough heart to fucking save me. Not another poem with stupid birds and daisies until someone walk up with enough heart to show me a kiss. If you see me in the back writing all these angry love poems, so much that I can't look up and I can only snap because I'm afraid that in the clapping I will stab a pen through the other hand, or worse, that I'll lose my place. If you want to end and abort that angry love poem, approach, take my hand, touch my hair, kiss my lip, hold my face with both palms.
Yeah, Jay.
That was great.
Thank you.
You the shit.
Okay, this is one I wrote for April. Song from the Reluctant Revolution. There is a song I didn't want to write. I don't want to hear it sung. I don't want to hear those bells rung. Maybe it's too catchy a tune. Maybe things will stop fading from popular memory too soon. And its chorus starts with, "You did your job, now I have to do mine." Really, it's a song about things you've forgotten. But over the years, you've let things get rotten. Today is a day for deeds. Now it counts to attack unfettered weeds. Pull the weeds, tend the heart that bleeds. Nothing as good as a man. Use his hand, recreate the land. Fix the old song and the lyricist's reprimands. Fix the old order with a countermand. Does today have to be a day something dies? Just when we hear it out, remember the why? You're a long way from that baby you were. Something's been going on in your backyard. Like some 50s housewife, you look the other way. You let someone else hold all the cards. Now you've found that they've accumulated a royal flush. This translates to you economically crushed. And without a dollar to stand on, there go your rights. But I guess I'm singing to both sides of the fight. Can you ask how I feel all this happened in my sight? You did your job, now I have to do mine. This is the middle of the song I didn't want to write. I guess both sides think I'm in this fight. But that side thinks you all happened in my sight. And then they try to enlist me while stomping on my rights. This song has evolved into a collection of terms to be used in a panic situation. It's not really my revolution, but I'm going to have to be involved somehow. I'm not standing outside that song now. I'm the one walking around with bags and boxes of bones, like portable versions of skeletons in closets. Left after the revolution became Earth's deposit, I think I planted enough of them, like seeds, that it will be enough to grow sympathy. Writing the song serves what other purpose than to gain notice or praise or be appraised? You did your job. Now I have to do mine. Terminate the song that I didn't want to write. Terminate the fists I don't want you to fight. Terminate the fear that drives you to flight. Terminate the pain inflicted in my sight before someone terminates your rights. This song is a collection of terms to use in a panic situation. Sometimes I don't have a title when I finish the poem, and that's just sad because it winds up with a title like Untitled 2015 D. But then I thought of a title like a week later, so I call it Something Missing. Do you know how many abortions I've had? It's okay. Do you know how many abortions I've had? So many that there aren't numbers anymore. So many that the doctors should just remove my pen. I mean heart. I mean pen. I keep imagining what could happen when we finally meet. I keep replaying the promises you make. My fingers can't wait to trace your lines. Left to right, left to right. With all these no callbacks, with all these lines lost, with all these never heard from agains, with all the hopes of play dates for my heart. I mean pen. I mean heart. Stop the cadencing roll. Begin the soliloquy. You never again see what was aborted. They didn't give you their real email address. If they really don't want to own up to what they said to you, they block your number and you fade from memory. Fade from memory like the juiciest lines and the turn of phrases that would have twisted up the page. You remember the gist like you can remember that pretty photo they sent you, so you would keep them in mind. Sometimes they're still in mind, but they're never going to show up at that restaurant where they promised you would first meet up. So here my heart and I sit across from the table with these looks on our faces, these long, long silences, and I don't know why I get so disappointed out of it. Every time, every damn time. So the content and twists fade, so the promises made, they fade, so the potential that occurred on the road at midnight, it fades, so the willingness of the flesh, it fades, so the blue and pink on the page, it fades, like the memory of a kid in pink or blue, but one you never really knew, it fades. And here, my pen and I sit across from each other with these looks on our faces, and long, long silences, stillborn, but still beating pen. I mean heart. I mean pen. Well, whichever part I bleed out of on the page.
Nice. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you. God, have a clap for you.
One more time for J. Scott Wilson. Phenomenal. I'm keeping one of these army men. I'm just saying.
I should have cleaned up.
No worries, no worries. I'll edit that shit out. Technology. All right. So who's ready for their next act? I'm definitely ready. All right. So our next performer, I met this gentleman in New York, as a matter of fact, on a poetry field trip we all took to the New Yorican out there, and he frequents the venue on a regular basis, and every 3 to 4 months I have to change my favorite James Bane piece, because he's one of these writers that just continually gets better and better with every piece. He challenges his own writing. When I first started introducing him, I used to call him the historian, because he had a very history, and he did a lot of research for his pieces, which I admired to the fullest. But he's grown so much as a writer, I can't really call him that anymore. He's just a poet. So please put your hands together for our brother James Bane.
How's everybody doing this Sunday?
Good, Bane.
Alright, I got a whole lot of stuff and it's kind of timed out, so try to give you guys a couple of seconds to absorb it, but I'm just going to go through them.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be from National Poetry Month, 30 for 30, so if I stumble, bear with me. Go ahead and start the time, Eayaes.
Alright, we started. Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you. I knew something was wrong when I called in the order. Breakfast sandwich, please. Bacon hard, eggs fried soft. A deafening silence followed by an abrupt hanging up of the phone. Smiling as I walked inside, the short order cook replied, "Pick up, eggs soft," and tears began to well her eyes. Past tense pain hidden under her paper crown and plastic grin. In a world where things aren't always sunny side up, memories of unhappy mornings attached to the most oddest things.
Wow.
Check out the little mural right there. It's pretty, whatever. Don't really look at the butterflies. Check out the shadows, especially the shadows that aren't attached to the butterflies. An odd feeling arises when a fluttering insect's shadow passes your vision. First, not knowing to which lepidopterian the shadow belongs, you find yourself in purgatory wanting to praise and swat this living creature all at the same time. Corkboard racism. When your eyes finally find its bearer, you will have your moment of judgment. So odd, seconds before, the structure of its wings had no weight in your heavy-handed decision. Juried executioners. The butterfly swoons sunlit days and glides with privilege past our prejudiced eyes as the moth incessantly seeks glimmers that resemble the moon. Light seekers. Both betrothed with a holy glow, and by the color of its wings, we determine their dark futures. On the Saturday before Earth Day, I find myself in a sandy parking lot looking out at a glimmered horizon, an introvert's haven without crowds or city noise. Places like this is where I find peace. Suddenly, all things natural are shaken from comfort and everything is disorder. I watch flocks frantically flap away, disturbed by flying machines who usher in death, blatant disregard for all beings below. 4 Boeing Chinook CH-47s flew over, and I looked up and saw the equation of human relation. The name Chinook comes from a once numerous Native American people who inhabited the mouth of Columbia River. Since many tribes had no word for rape or murder, I am sure Boeing and these people don't speak the same language. I've seen a lot of, especially my female friends here, spit the most revealing shit on the stage. So that made me bring up this one. I lost what was never supposed to be taken at a very young age. The broken pieces misshapen, glued back by the hands of a child. Stolen away and kicked it from playground into found prey. Head low, contorted smile before age and unscathed busy faces. I can still remember what those 2 demons taste like. Slowly molding what was once innocent into a thing vicious. Peculiar maybe how similar victims tend to see through this veil. The devil must know his own. Cloaked in decades of loose thrill for validation. Serrated blades still cut pain through brainwaves deep. I box those thoughts back up whenever they fall out freely. Still slippery as the first day they were given to me. I find it odd how they pop out at the most wrong times. Shrouds of silence make for good armor in this man's world. Makes me wonder what all the other 1 in every 6 wear for masks. These for the little girls. Princess, you've been born into a world of lies. Since birth, evil men push tall tales of Prince Charmings, kings, and heroes into thoughts. My God, scratch that goddess, I digress, they have unqueened you. Crafted out fairy dust plots for damsels distressed. Laid down kitchens and gender expectations for your happily ever afters. Stand up, dragon slayer, and cast off your chains. Slay that beast before it claws, marks your how you think. Inkwell your own stories from glorious roles unsupporting. Rapunzel need not sit in towers. I'm sure Jasmine will be an activist against war in her country. I'm sure Ariel would drown murderous poachers on sight. Take off your glass slippered vision, it burns like a cinder. Eloquent metaphor for waking up from sleeping. Beauty isn't the only magic that builds castles. The knight in shining armor is yourself.
What? Bars.
Burning ocelot eyes of yours seared through my once rusted soul. Dragged something earthen from inside and pulled me closer to a sky all at the same time, exalting and exhausting. Like the last 2 steps on ziggurats in Babel, it was as if I had left open the gate and sat by the window awaiting noise from its hinges. How much time I got?
Shit, man, you about to hit 5 minutes right now.
Word? Switch it up. Still 30 for 30. Too many sheep with no shepherds, and too many lions wandering with wolves trying to dot me out like leopards. As to the reasons affected, children yelling about scandals that all seem misdirected. Too many righteous hanging out with devils. Shoulder chip, whittle fake depictions of the boy like Geppetto. A queen stone cold jawline looking to find guidance from pebbles. Bam bam, Cassie twice, scratch twice with her shovel. I got my suspicions on who speaks fictitious. I see it too, but I watch you Looney Tunes from a distance. Two-pronged tongues that speak real with their intent. Gas is 22, so who's revving engines? Too many Whitleys and too many Benzes. Too many Whitleys and too many Bensons. Too many bus passes with intentions of Benzes. When I see their two faces, I will still speak to them. You have once allowed them to undo a tacit union. Too many boosters. Two want to give their 2 cents, but when foul shit happened to them, they didn't give worth 2 pence to it. I refuse to be a pawn or a fool for the toolish piece. When I see you, it's still 2 fingers. Deuces.
Deuces.
We march as one with the families of slain daughters and sons left bleeding on America's consciousness. Remember that these are children. I have seen non-indictments, administrative leave, and nationwide protests. I look and see brown caskets, white caskets, pearl-colored caskets. This poem was about that. Livestock, like bugs smashing on a windshield. The Sunshine State has shed light on our stand your ground laws, and the Show Me State has shown me again that there is no denying the uneven scales in the corrupt system against young black males. This poem is not about that. Don't define your world in black and white because there is so much hiding amongst the grays. Tonight I will take you to the bluegrass state and attempt to appear into brainwashed minds and undo what the fuck is wrong with them. A narrative taking place in a small rural town named Herndon, Kentucky, on a night where the grass wasn't so blue. According to official reports in the early hours of Saturday, April 24th, Broome County Deputy Tyler Brockman wishes cars full of juveniles hearing loud music and people screaming, radioed several patrol cars for assistance as it seemed like a large party with underage drinking was going on. These are his words verbatim. Fellow deputies respond full force in an attempt to surround the party held near the bank of the Ohio River and set up a roadblock at the only vehicular entrance, one way in, one way out. Menacing sirens, blue and red lights approach as scores of underage drinkers flee, scrambling in every direction. Some were compliant and returned to their cars, falling in line for the sobriety checkpoint, which will soon turn fatal. 19-year-old Samantha Ramsey appears in Tyler Brockman's dash cam at 2:13:01 in her white 2001 Subaru with 3 passengers. The cruiser video has been running a mere 3 minutes. Intent on issuing DUIs, Deputy Brockman is seen several feet from her car, both shining his flashlight and barking orders through her closed window as she slows down. 3 seconds later, the Subaru has left the frame. 30 seconds later, Samantha Ramsey is dead. Her blue-green eyes snuffed out, envious at such a reciprocal moment. Official reports claim that she was intoxicated off alcohol and marijuana. Her 3 passengers said they couldn't overhear the music and simply followed the other cars that pulled to the side of the street to make way for other cars, yet still comply with police. And at 2:13-21, a black car pulls in exactly where Samantha's Subaru has been. 8 seconds later, you can see the reactions of those passengers watching in shock as to what is unfolding before them. Witnesses say that after she kept moving is when the cop jumped on top of the car and just opened up fire. Brockman states that he feared she would kill him and other officers and pedestrians along the side of the road. Police report states that she accelerated and hit him, causing him to land on the hood. A backseat passenger who was lucky to be alive said, "We saw 3 cars, so we thought we could go past." And her life was gone. Ceased. Stopped, like bugs, smashing on the windshield as 4 slugs were sent, cracking through her windshield. Bang! Bullet through her spleen. Bang! Bullet through her clutching forearm and into her still beating heart. Bang! Bullet through her liver. Bang! Bullet pierces through her other arm and lodges itself right above the backseat passenger. Glass shards and trajectory show his muzzle was point-blank range. I'm not sure which hit first, but they were all on target in this justifiable homicide. Minutes later, this man is seen on the still-running dash cam between 2:15 and 2:19 in the midst of an already chaotic scene, drawing and holstering his weapon multiple times without the slightest limp of indication or injury. Brockman's attorney states that he was faced with a life-and-death situation that demanded a decision no law officer would ever want to make. Samantha's mother is faced with a death-of-life decision that no grieving parent should ever have to partake. Brandy Stewart had to bury her daughter. Official Brockman's right boot was scuffed and he received treatment for leg bruises at a nearby hospital. Do not define your world in black and white, for there is so much hiding amongst the grays. Remember that these are children. I've seen non-indictments, administrative leave, and nationwide protests. This poem is about that. I look and see brown caskets, white caskets, pearl-colored caskets. This poem is about them. I see brown eyes, blue eyes, red crying eyes, and if you didn't fully understand before this tragic tale that both shed the same tears, then this poem was for you.
Mm.
We'll go over like a minute and like 40 seconds. All right. The beginning, the end, black.
Mm.
Michelle nailed the hearth. Clay dirt, Omega Alpha, black, created us out of black. Packs where we Sabbath search for Savior, though Sunday morning is still the most segregated hour in this nation, black. Be son of God, skin of bronze, hair of wool, Jesus had dreads too, so shake 'em, black. Tell me where to go, E40 from California, Chief 40 and marijuana, manganese, lace malt liquor suppresses your pineal gland, black. Heard a comic at the venue said he smelled milk grade and cocoa butter. Funny, I can smell the soot from burning chapel spewing from his mouth. Addie, Cynthia, Carolyn, Denise, 4 little girls burn the ashes, black. Best black joke in the world I was told at age 7. Heard it as I was leaving. Math buddy Timmy forgot I couldn't come inside this house, trailer. Came from his daddy's lips, I still remember. Wall-size Confederate flag behind the fish tank. 2 Oscars, 1 Jack Dempsey. Wasn't allowed to feed them. Image embedded until the day I die. Should've known my place, stay in your place, black. Gentrification. Foreclosed homes. We gonna make it on mama's face, black. Biggest piece goes on daddy's plate. Say your grace. Who put the damn fish grease in the wrong can? 5 a.m. debate, black. My uncle will fix that car. My sister fills in her coloring book. Princesses with burnt sienna and sepia in the land of Payola. Your heroes can be black. Red stained Kool-Aid scrubbed away. Whip, get the extension cord, black. Can I borrow some sugar or light your clip? Get the extension cords back against the wall. They always await our fall. Do you play basketball? Not at all. I've been running soccer fields 16 years of my life. All of my life I had to fight. Color purple, bruised Emmett Till's body, black. We all know that one black and white picture taken of the lynching of Thomas Ship and Adrian. Excuse me. We all know that one black and white picture taken of the lynching of Thomas Ship and Abram Smith and that ensuing body beneath their dangling legs, oh so colorful. That photo was found with other keepsakes framed with a clump of hair. A memo that read Bo pointing to his nigger, black. You got Jordans on your feet, black? Let's discuss Michael Jordan's academic scores through UNC, black. Carolina Tar Heel, black. Carolina's the 10th highest state in documented lynchings. Their names eulogized in black ink. Undocumented lynchings in the middle of the night, kidnappings written in darker ink, black. Take away Kwanzaa, they're starting to think black. We don't need them starting to think, black. Black Panther, Kathleen Cleaver, Huey P. Newton want us to Carolina Panther, Ray Cruz, kill our family, paralyze our youth, black. Fuck up our commas, say what it do, black. White America watches boys in the hood kill each other on 6 o'clock news, nothing but a menace to society, so I'm sure the officer was justified. Thugs, black, a time to kill. Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. Strike down upon me with great vengeance and furious anger. Quotes from Samuel L. Jack. Son, everybody want to be black until it's time to breathe, black. Just keep singing, entertain, dance us, black. Serena Williams gets half of Maria Sharapova's endorsements, so she crips walk off court after whipping that ass, black. Her older sister was murdered in Compton, California. The gang-related killer wasn't brown, wasn't yellow, was not black. Make you believe what they want. Impose. What if I told you that since Alexander the Greek's invasion of black Kemet in 300 BC, that every bullet, bomb, body spent in war has been funded by the same 5 groups, nothing but red blood from darker people? Didn't you hear Kendrick Lamar say Illuminati is the most racist party? You've been listening to the beats, huh, black? Then Liz Taylor, Joe Cleopatra. Saw 2 new upcoming movie trailers depicting Kemetic culture. Not a one black actor. Greek and Romans sit there smartest to learn in our libraries, black. Didn't tell you that every piece of Greco-Roman literature had to be retranslated from Arabic after being burned. Lost war after lost war with their neighboring countries, black. Didn't tell you that Homer was the first European to compile a book 800 BC. Didn't tell you that before shoes or windows were in Europe, there were castles built by architecture, black. Who the fuck is Pythagoras? This theme is evident in every ancient pyramid. They just didn't get it. Didn't tell you that Egyptology is the only geographicology. There is no Britishology, Italiology. My brother there, I'm trying to mythicize your history, constructed by hands, built, brains. Take away from you. See wonders of the Sphinx necked on ancient aliens, black. Never told you that the bubonic plague decimated 73% of your population and it was Arabic medicine that saved them. I remember the day after 9/11 and the odd sudden feel of embrace. Guess they picked another day. Guess they picked another neck to step on that day, black. I was grade school, miseducated and sent to talented and gifted all at the same damn time. Best friend in that class was a Ute native boy from Arizona, last name Abeda. His counselor came one day and interrupted class and inquired about the letters in his social security number. Probably stepped there to keep Bird's cage. Confirmation, his first name was Adam, original man, black. Didn't tell you that the brown Washington red indigenous were kicking it here thousands of years before that first chained slave. Olmec statues prove it. You can carbon 14, my black. Gold of the universe. Palladium costs $60 on the gram in the market. Melanin is worth $360 a gram. Do you understand, black? Sister, what you think they do with that placenta? Brother, why do you only see white mice in science labs? Do you see white mice anywhere else? Why would you spend all time in research and time to experiment on mutation? Oh shit, CIA chasing me, conspiracy theory movie, Mel Gibson. They'll do anything to clip freight ends. Fred Hampton in Chicago, Black Panther, Michael Schwarner in Mississippi, Black supporter, Princess Diana, Paris Tunnel, Black baby and womb baby daddy named Dodie. Off with her head on the British crown. This chick must think she knows me.
Damn.
Wow.
I lost one piece back. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to run that piece back.
Do that.
Do you understand, black sister? What you think they do with that placenta? Brother, why you think only see white mice in science labs? Do you see white mice anywhere else? Why would you think they spend all time in research to experiment on mutation? Oh shit, CIA chasing me, conspiracy theory movie, Mel Gibson, they'll do anything to clip frayed ends. Fred Hampton in Chicago, Black Panther, Michael Schwarner in Mississippi, Black supporter, Princess Diana, Paris Tunnel, Black baby and womb baby daddy named Dodie. Off with her head, I'm the British crown. This chick must think she knows me. A monarchy which has pillaged and raped every resource in life from all continents. Abandoned air, fields, and pollution revealed that. I'm not stating that anyone is devils. I just want you to know that white supremacy has levels. Want us to get the shovel, get the bags, menu, get the other cheek. Want us to scream revolution, repeat, I have a dream. I ain't saying Dr. King's name at all in this piece. Too bad you spent the whole time waiting.
Keep it going for James Bane, everyone. Such an amazing writer. All right. So I'm really super excited to introduce our next performer. Not only do I consider him a brother, he's also my roommate. But this is a phenomenal week for this gentleman. He's featuring tonight. We're having his demo release party here on Thursday. And then Friday, he's opening up at Shaka's for Joe Buttons. And for those of you who don't know, Joe Buttons is a national artist. So we're super duper proud of this gentleman. He was my co-host when we were still doing Thursday nights. The venue runs through this man. Please put your hands together for Darrell, Eayaes, Clark.
Up to me like this. Y'all saw that.
I did. I thought again. I was like, wait a minute. This isn't right.
Played me. It's poetry night.
Hey, who said it's poetry night? Is that George? DOC, he said rap stands for Rhythmic American Poetry. I just had the craziest deja vu moment too, yo. Alright, so, some things I do is invoke emotions, entice some motherfuckers when lines are spoken. Poetry and music, whatever the focus. I enjoy joking, but sometimes the motives can be a bit more serious. Envelop minds are poking with the letter, open the orange is glowing. With my words guaranteed I can make the molten spit. Tender parts of your brain, mass media, popular culture folded, thus molding you to fit with the majority of fuckheads, not opponent wit, finding creativity or simply speaking up, down, right, or going the fuck in, roll out the shit that's going against all the curves flowing. Burn the rest of stuff just like we're smoking. Piss on the road just cause in no trade. They're going for collection, preventing second gen from growing. Basically, before I start, I dead in the resurrection. Spread the message so youth and just a lesson. That your mind is truly the greatest weapon and biggest target. So sharp for insurrection. Betrayed generations, backstabbed by America, the whore, and all of the fucked up institutions. We need more than restitution. For the record, the American dream's infected with deception. See, we Going on to college, having a pre-midlife crisis, paying his payment for the knowledge, grab life the same shit as before, or a bit more, depending from a foul cabinet lane you broke course, and of course banking brains be the infamous sidekicks, applied interest making you broke, that's business, or you can join an American gang, tuition pay, serving the country, better start up on your rank, gotta find a better way to sustain, than the cop out route, being upon disposable in this game, might even not come back the same, missing limbs or extreme trauma to the brain, PTSD halfway sane with the night terrors, horrible poor, forgotten soldier, wishing you came back immortalized in a folded old glory, or that you never enlisted, brainwashed to accept all missions, fighting for freedom back home, beatings and cuffs to peace out protesters, carried out by the roots, pigs with fatal gestures, no wave of the bass to be saved as a last, and you saw for the blast, or turn light past, you ain't shit to who serves to protect the establishment, just a carbon footprint, half above knees, not spent touching base groveling, or begging and praying for mercy from them or God, in him we trust, according to lust for illegal bucks are full of sin, that's origin. Wizard Wilson fucked the whole nation, he even stated it. You can see direct correlation, found in relation with common hatred for 9 to 5, feeling complacent and debt created from thin air. Taste it, paste it to your fucking last name. Still it on for the record. Another number for your number. Shit just meant to keep you under. The terror infused into the status quo. Black kid, white cop, button poke. Several more times, some vice versa, that button's broke. We're going on for too long, old song, I know. Population provoked, tension excessive, division, internal conflicts accomplished to be the method, tried and true. Man, none of this shit is new. 19th century police killed harmless niggas too. Harness aggression, Joe, harness aggression. Fully loaded protection, a deadly weapon. Such a deadly weapon can implode and explode in the birth of a second. We must control our aims in the right direction. Not to the people equally affected. Come on. How much more can be dissected? The past and current events show us the lesson that unfocused riots work backwards, causing more oppression. So be sure to come with more sound suggestions, kids and adults. Don't end up like Tybalt, slain by your own hatred via default. So where do we go from there? Here, meandering about, aware, no care, laissez-faire, occupations of parks and squares, or contentness as armchairs. Don't let co-opting politicians rally around for image, leave them hanging dry like thrifted denim vintage, blow the fucking doors off hinges. Let's end this. Let's end this bullshit. Let's end this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do none of this shit's gonna really connect. It's just gonna be like a mixtape of shit.
Yeah. Mixtape. Do that.
So some of this shit don't got no titles neither. Oh, dreamy child. I hope you wake up and see there's a war hanging over you. A bit naive, but not too. You're smarter than you think. Don't be fooled by them grades in school. Just unlearn, unlearn, unlearn. Want to know how? Seek truth. Teach yourself. And once you find the right person to ask, how does the education system hold me back? Then upon seeing what's above you, though, remember this other little tidbit. Don't ever forget to have recess. Every single day. Alright, that's a piece.
Word up.
So right now I'm in a very interesting transition in my life, and sometimes I find myself asking questions about where I come from. You know, I ask my mom, where's our family lineage begin? I learned that I'm from the Bahamas recently. You know what I'm saying? And cool shit like that. I want to know more about where I come from, and this piece kind of came from that. I almost had a heart attack, she told my mom. The woman told her she could have swore I was you, man. Apparently I'm an augmented version, maybe diminished. And you know music, Uncle Jackie, so I'm sure you got that. You revel on Kit, I vibe with Axe. Rebel? I bet you were one. Perhaps my pops and Aunt Shona could attest to that. See, many of folks say I resemble you, And while I dig the idea of being your possible reincarnate, it irks the shit out of me knowing that your life ended way too soon, cut short by a distracted, probably inebriated driver just decades before my life was even a topic of discussion. I want to say I know you. I want to know if you coined words and phrases, if you trusted police and the government, what your taste in music is, if you were a jokester, if you went against the grain like I do. I heard you were very protective and brought the wrath to those who did you wrong or the ones you cared about, so I want to know what your weapon of choice was, and if it was dependent on the crime. I want to know what your passions were, your biggest fears. What did you believe in? We probably have a plethora of things in common. I mean, shit, Unc. It would have been so eye-opening to see you and go into Chester, my 8 to 10-year-old self, witness the snares pop, absorb the kicks, relish the beauty of crashes, and get schooled in law because my pops told me you wanted to be a lawyer. I'd like to know you more, though. You know, it's funny, looking back at my 9-year-old self, I believe, I distinctly remember 4th grade music class. It was one day, instrument carousel, play it for a bit, keep the line moving, that kind of thing. And I perched myself on the stool, sticks in hand, and resumed where you must have left off at your last practice. So maybe that's confirmation.
Nice.
And that's a true story too, yo. Like, I mean, I for real distinctly remember sitting down at the fucking kit and was just like jamming on it, and everyone was like, "Yeah, Terrell, go!" I was like, "Yeah," you know what I mean? It was so natural. It was bugged out. It was crazy. All right. Matter of fact, let's go into this one. All right. Hey, Tab, you can go ahead. So I came across this chick, man, and run it back again? Sorry, she fucked me up just now. Man. She's dangerous. The way young kids view violence attractive, attached to it like backpacks sewn into their skin. Human nature, if you will. But she's far more advanced. A walking prototype. Her own manufacturer. Her schematics encrypted in code more complex than the Navajos, containing characters only she can overstand and convey. But out of paranoia and a fit of rage, she placed them inside of an incinerator to lay waste to any attempt made by someone else to crack, cook, and serve to a select panel of peers, sunny side up, medium hard, or poached. Now, when provoked, she scrambles the vibrations radiating from her aura to go undetected, and in a flash, it's over easy. Now, rarely does she go uncloaked, though, because she just loves the way she looks. Infatuated by her own presence, this woman is what hazmat suits and quarantines cannot keep at bay, but she still loves it when the sky turns that faded June blue, just that cut above the burnt orange, because it reminds her the frailty of life and her approaching fade to black. She's an armory full of broken safeties accessed by bored and lost teenagers, tragically defective, always at the ready, shooting blindfolded for kicks, but she just doesn't know. She can't get enough of the passion of living, no matter who gets cut down, and she doesn't know how much longer she can go on like this. So she smokes heavily. You can see the tiny twisters form funnels inside the crystals embedded in her cheeks. Her skin wears them the way tattoo addicts don ink, as if she was birthed from a treasure on another light-bearing world outside our solar system, yet in our galaxy. So you cannot mine for them stones here, even though her skin is earth brown. Maltese Falcon ain't got shit on her and she knows this. Zalira is her name. Unordinary. The kind of character that gets soft from pinpointing the traces of formaldehyde found in her cigarette smoke in hopes she can preserve qualities about herself that she fears will become lost in her growth. I ain't seen her in a minute, so I don't know where she's at these days.
Oh, this a real thing?
Somewhere, man. She's
I was
somewhere.
gonna ask that question.
Alright. So this is a newer piece I wrote. Tiny metal shells tap notes on concrete.
Come on.
An inaudible melody of lament, drowned out by the ruckus cadenza of the soloist. Eyes and ears relay the latter to the brain. The soul will digest the former. Tastes the same as always. The coda is cuffing. This movement, serving from a blue, is quite a standard. Ages upon ages old, and yet it's becoming trendy these days. Fusing its sway into popular culture as if to subliminally desensitize a certain demographic while cornering the other into fear and crosshairs. That's a piece. How much more time do I got? I got like a solid piece or two.
Yeah, you can do a piece. I would
Alright.
say.
So, close out with this one, yo. Shout out to everybody here at the venue, Patty, and everything about this. You know what I'm saying? Basically. And the team, because ain't nobody fucking with the team. Alright, so, as an introduction, for those that don't know me, I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm a modern old school cat. Swinging bats wrapped in chainmail with spikes attached, pulverizing the fakers, plus the whack, jacking them of their confidence and throwing to the bonfires out back. Ashes. Mixed with melted beer bottles and twist off caps detached, along with those you have to snap off, like a king says, off with their heads. Remains become embers that when compiled together, they form a bed you gotta poke at every now and then to keep it lively and fuel fed. Now that we've gathered around, we can celebrate like it's my birthday. See, today is the birthday of the rhyme sprayed onto these sheets, so potent you'll trip for weeks off the ink that seeps in, only if you eat them. And when eating, you might see what my soul sings, and maybe it'll bomb with yours from commonalities that stem from things that we saw together if yours is old like mine. Once we were homies in a past lifetime, hung out together, snapped fingers to the rhythms of bandstand performers at Birdland, perhaps. See, I'm a modern old school cat. The embodiment of a truly eclectic soul, hence the name Eayaes, but it ain't just two letters added four in between to make it stretch, so that E-A-Y-A-E-S spells Eayaes, but Darrell's how some know me best.
Yeah.
Now, examples of the name include, but ain't limited to, Coco Rosie's Smoky Taboo, stuck in my head, right foot at the nose of my hustle doll, rocking my Fred Hampton shirt, looking forward to playing my guitars upon arrival at my home. Bumping, are you still down before I go bodyboarding? And I get extra stoked whenever I hear Sublime play in stores or on the Weather Channel. It's happened before, trust me. Finishing Huey's Revolutionary Suicide while starting Betty's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Looking forward to getting Platt's Belljar and Right to Black Boy. But Daniel Lusky's House of Leaves in my hands making my brain do work. This time in my Wu-Tang shirt. And across from me is a man that's nervous by what he sees. A young black male, backwards spinning. What the fuck is he doing here in this bookstore? Shouldn't he be out busy being a ball player or a drug dealer or a rap singer or some other kind of career? Stereotypes all unfound while he looked. If he would have said that shit out loud though, he might have left mad shook, maybe even mind blown by my articulation, through dedication, through strengthening and enhancing my vernacular through positive mental stimulation, stimulating like pen and paper relations. My books, they have many partners, yes, but only those willing to take part in these tattoos. Trust me though, I make sure they all get tested first before I let them to infuse, because see, this is what I do. And for a while now, I've been wanting to take a ride out to the beach on a clear quartz crystal night so we can safely wordplay under moonlight and light from stars that took millions, some even billions of light years just to reach us and say, hi. Looking up back in time while working towards my future in the present. It's kind of a mind fuck when you think about it, considering that we, all of us in here, can be the past in someone else's night sky. Bringing a whole new topic to discussion that people created called time. Now, I challenge you all, explore that thought. You know, us being the past, even the future in someone else's night sky. And write about it. Paint about it, sing about it, whatever your heart desires, whatever route you choose. And relay it back to me like extra credit. No, matter of fact, like it's a take-home test that I assign, and you'll fail the fucking course. If you don't, you'll be left behind. Let's do next week. Peace.
Where?
One more time for Darrell. Eayaes. All right. So, I'm remarkably unprofessional sometimes. So here's what we're going to do, all right? I already know the piece I'm going to close with, but that's all I know. So I'm going to let you guys put together my set tonight. Cool? First four I hear, that's what I'm closing with.
Oh, shit. All right.
So the first four pieces I hear are the ones I'll do. Don't all say them at once. The Dennis poem.
Say it loud.
What?
Piggies.
Oh yeah, Piggies. I
What's the,
Hang on.
no.
Kate.
Remember way back in the day you gave me a copy of your poem?
I remember that, but I don't remember what poem it was. What was it about?
I don't remember.
I don't know. What's the
number
borderline new one that you wrote?
And dedicated to you?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm closing with.
The number poem.
All right, well, the Category Sunset then.
The number poem.
And the number poem?
Yeah.
All right, we're done, okay.
Oh yeah, the number poem.
That's the one I'm going to have to read. I got Piggies and Tangerine Sunset.
Is that the same as Clean Your Sheets?
We still doing
Yes.
this?
We're doing a Dennis poem. All right, cool. You guys picked some good ones. Damn, now that I look at it, that's a dark set. All right. So, this poem's about my Dennis. Time out.
Which one are you in? Which one I want to go with?
So, before you recline this chair, numb my mouth and stuff it with that gauze that seems to absorb my very words, there's something I want to say to you. You are absolutely beautiful. I mean, my God, look at you. You're like an ice cream cone with arms. Sweet enough to give me cavities. You've got me looking forward to my dental visits. Dr. Konikoff's office called today to confirm my appointment for Friday, and I got excited. Who does that? Who gets excited about a trip to the dentist? Clearly, it's not the cleaning I'm excited about. It's the 45 minutes I get to spend with you. Practically immobile, laying flat on my back, staring up into your energetic eyes as you poke and prod at my gum line, not once noticing all the beautiful things I'd say about you, resting right there before you on the tip of my tongue, even after you adjust the overhead lamp to get a better view. Your voice sings me sonnets of proper dental hygiene, with your face hidden behind a surgical mask like you're some sort of sexy dental ninja, wielding toothbrush katanas and fluoride throwing stars, judo chopping gingivitis, tiger punching plaque, you magnificent mouthwash warrior, cavity creeps are no match for you. You are my sweet tooth's craving, a Listerine queen, Colgate cutie. My dental floss goddess in scrubs and rubber gloves, I will fall victim to your Novocaine. Willingly. I get goosebumps every time I step into your office, but not for the same reason as most patients in your waiting room. You see these flutters in my stomach. they belong to you. So while all you may hear is, what I'm really saying is, I like you. A lot. Enough to make me come out of pocket for that one extra visit a year my insurance won't cover. And it may sound inappropriate, but I'm just dying to sink my teeth into you. Leave my bite marks on your heart more than just my dental records on your mind. And I am not just flapping my gums here, dear. I assure you. See, I don't know much about you. But my molars hold enough wisdom to know that you're something special. And I can no longer settle for just scheduling my next appointment. All right, we'll do, this is called Tangerine Sunset, and it's Seven's favorite. Yeah. I gotta yell. You sailed off into the tangerine sunset, eager to explore what you might be missing. I stood on the banks of the river disappointment, watching you shrink slowly into the horizon as you set course toward your theoretical, bold new life without a care in the world. But Her Majesty's ship left quite awake. You left me with an unorganized pile of unanswered questions illegibly sprawled across soiled napkins, scraps of paper, and bubblegum wrappers. You left so abruptly that your perfume hung in the air and your footprints remained in my carpet for days. You left a steamy handprint on my bathroom mirror, the impression of your head on my pillowcase, your goodbye in my ears, and this infernal stack of questions in my hands. While you spread your wings, mine were clipped, rendering me flightless in a clumsy, tumbling freefall. You left me sleeping on your side of the bed just to make it feel less empty. You left me with my heart on display, my proposal on my lips. You left me alone, still clutching this chaotic stack of questions, struggling to keep it together as it wrestled with the very wind that filled your sails. 2 arms, frail from the lack of your embrace, hopelessly holding them against the hollows of my chest until one violent gust ripped them from my grip, sending them swirling all around me, and it was enough to make me contemplate the existence of serenity on the edge of a razor blade. Congratulations! You almost broke me. You've certainly come closer than anyone has before, so my hat's off to you. But how dare you even tie the laces on the shoes that carried your worthless ass back to my doorstep? How did your fingers not break under the pressure of pressing my doorbell? How did your face remain intact when you parted your miserable lips to speak to me? Did you really think I'd meet you at the docks? How did you expect to find my arms in any other position than folded defensively across my chest? How dare you? Bitch. I've heard whispers of your misadventures on the other side of the fence. I see the stains those greener pastures left upon your kneecaps. The very wind that carried you away carried word back to me that you never did find what you were looking for. So now, I guess you've got a new map that reads, your X marks the spot. I'm not sure what you're looking for now, and I'm not sure you are either. I don't know what you expected to find here, but clearly it is not what you left behind. Because I stood on that riverbank, anxiously awaiting your return, watching the tides rise and fall in unison with my broken breast until I sank shin deep into its muddy sediment, holding this unorganized pile of unanswered questions that I just don't have anymore. Gotta be my own videographer. So this will be a good one to follow it up with. This was Jay's request, and this is why I tend to relate to Jay's work so much. This is called Lily Scented Linens, and everybody just refers to it as the number poem or the poem about washing my sheets. Actually, we did an event called Responses, where we all wrote responses to each other's pieces, and Maddie responded to this, and it made me cry. It did. It made me cry because she, without knowing, she really channeled the voice of the individual that this is about. 1. I usually find number poems entirely too formulaic for my taste, and I swore I'd never write one. 2. I lied. 3. You see, I think I'm finally starting to get it now. With so many questions and emotions all simultaneously somersaulting through me, I find myself having to list them just to stay emotionally organized enough to deal with it all. 4. I really ought to wash my sheets. The scent of lilies is still trapped there, so every time I roll over, I release your memory back into the air. It infiltrates my thoughts and I can smell you like you're laying right beside me. 2, it's not good for me. 3, I keep the poems you wrote me, tucked safely in the back pocket of my binder, folded tenderly down their centers, the crease as sharp as the wit you wrote them with, just to remind myself that people don't always mean what they say, even if you do get it in writing. 4, I can't seem to keep myself busy enough to avoid thinking of you. It happens every time. As soon as my world slows down, your memory catches up to me like a schoolyard bully I can't hide from. It kicks the wind out of me, and instantly I'm as breathless as your farewell. 5. 1. I really ought to wash my sheets. I'm still finding your stray hairs self-woven into the threads of my pillowcase. I used to joke about using those to have you cloned. Everyone should have one of you. If only that were possible. 2. I wonder if you miss me. 3. You would reach out to me if you missed me. Instead, I'm out here on your shell-scattered shore with a metal detector searching for your plastic reasons. 4. I'm a fucking idiot to think you miss me, especially after the way you left. Of course you don't fucking miss me. 5. I miss you. 6. 1. I really ought to wash my sheets. I just can't seem to bring myself to. I've heard the sense of smell is the one most readily associated with memory, so I'm afraid that if I do, I will wash you away completely, and I'm just not ready to do that yet. 2, I still love you. 3, I know it isn't mutual. 4, you have no idea how bad you hurt me. You didn't even turn your head to see where the screams were coming from. Maybe you couldn't hear my heart breaking over the sound of your own, or maybe you turned a deaf ear. On second thought, 5, you know exactly how bad you hurt me. I completely opened up to you. You knew my stories. Hell, you helped me write a poem about it. Christina really did a number on me, so you broke out your abacus. Click, click, clicked your callous calculus. Who knew you could be so competitive? Broke me down to a smaller fraction than she ever could. Now none of this adds up. 6. 1. Single-handedly, you ripped the still-beating heart from its ribcage and stabbed it with the very pen you used to write me poems. 2. You left me like a butterfly leaves its cocoon, never once looking back on the chrysalis that taught you you were beautiful. And you didn't just leave, you left me broken, the fragments of our love scattered on the floor before me, drenched in your exit. You even took a few of them with you so I could never feel complete again. How could you? 3. 1. I really ought to wash my sheets. 1. I really ought to wash. 1. So is everybody still having a good time? Yeah! Good, good. Patty's my light tech. So she's going to handle some lighting for me.
Go Patty.
Because this piece is a lot more fun in the dark. I could do what?
You could slam with that Lewis and Lennon show.
If I could memorize it. You would think it'd be easy because it's just a numbered piece, but...
You got that shit.
Thank you.
There it is. Done.
All right. This next piece was it was written as an assignment for the Acting for Poets class that we do here with Dee Dee Delaney, and it's probably one of my favorite pieces. It's a lot of fun to perform. We dim the lights because, you know, to create the mood. This is a love poem. It is a love poem.
Of course. I don't want you to love me.
It's a love poem. Y'all stop. All right. She looks just like her. She looks just like Celia. They all look just like Celia. The long, dark hair, the bright, happy eyes, framed in spectacles, so pretty. They're all the same. The pretty girls. Pretty little girls with pretty little eyes and pretty round little mouths telling pretty little lies just like Celia. I was 15 when we dissected fetal pigs in science class. I remember reading somewhere that pig flesh reacts the most like a human's. I marveled at how the skin peeled apart from me under my scalpel like a silent zipper, revealing the pretty piggy insides, telling me their truths. Saved a few of the bones. I took them home and boiled the meat off them and saved them in a cedar box I kept hidden behind my bedpost. This is where it all started. Mr. Artrip seemed disturbed at my insistence for another class dissection. I eventually stopped asking and just began collecting roadkill. Squirrels and rabbits mostly. Sometimes a raccoon. Once, I even found a small dog, but most of his insides were already on the outside. His truth spilled carelessly all over the pavement. I took them all home. One by one, I dissected the lovely little organs telling me their secrets, and I wanted so badly to preserve those truths. I suppose this could have led to a more socially acceptable pastime like taxidermy, or I could have studied biology, but it didn't. It led to people. It led to Celia. See, I knew she was keeping something from me. I knew she was keeping something on the inside, and it drove me mad, not knowing. The not knowing turned to wanting, turned to thirst, turned to hunger, turned to my hands tight around her throat, squeezing the truth from her. The tears welled up thick and heavy, snot and saliva spewed helplessly from her face. Every gurgle and choke made me feel more and more alive. They never look more beautiful than when they struggle, and they all struggle to no end. It's an exercise in futility. I find it insulting, really. And still, they all eventually acquiesce, just like Celia. When her pupils dilated, I unzipped her chest so I could see what she was keeping from me, and there it was. There, all for me like a prize I'd worked so hard for. Her lungs were gorgeous, pink and young. I imagined how many times she must have filled them with the breaths of her deceit, her belly still filled with every morsel of pride she'd forced herself to swallow. I found my trust buried and jaundiced in her liver. On her heart there was a name, and it was not my own, and still her insides looked so pretty. Bloody and real and moist and honest. Celia was the first. They say you never forget your first. I've lost track how many there have been since her, and I'm beginning to run out of room in the crawl space to hide my truth in. But she looks just like her. She looks just like Celia. And I'm curious what she might look like on the inside. That's my love poem. Someone call the ambulance. Oh, we can bring the lights back up.
Damn right.
Can't count.
Last piece.
Girl gone.
Don't worry about all that. Okay, so I think deep down, most hammers would much rather be pillows, preferring to rest a head than to strike one. I have a hard time believing that sandpaper wouldn't prefer to be satin. You see, I think some of us act harder than we need to, simply because we haven't been presented with the options. Given a choice, I'd like to think that any barrier would much rather be a gate, swung wide open like arms that haven't seen you in years, saying, come on in, welcome home. You made it. So here's to every wish that drowned because its penny couldn't swim. For every rainbow that ever bent over backwards, reaching for the sun every time the sky cried, and for any shamrock that perished with its wishes still trapped within its four leaves, cut down prematurely by a lawnmower blade whose only wish was to be a sprinkler head instead. This is for being better than our nature, for going outside of our means and becoming more than what we were made for. This is for understanding that sometimes a crowbar just needs to be a key, and sometimes a lock needs to just not exist anymore. There are pebbles that dream of being boulders, and boulders that dream of being feathers. Somewhere, there's a puddle with ocean aspiration. Today, maybe today he's just a puddle. But tomorrow he'll be a pond, and then a brook, and then a stream, and then a river, then a lake, and then finally that ocean that will one day become the raindrops on a 4-year-old's nose who's splashing in a puddle, pretending to be a giant, jumping into an ocean. So here's to the nature of things, to the cycle of order, and to the knowledge that all things have a purpose, beyond their purpose, especially. Cheers. So, in the interest of me not looking like a pompous... So, is everybody ready for their next act? Yeah! Word up. All right, so this next performer, not unlike J. Scott Wilson, his feature is long overdue. I can call this man a brother, and I genuinely enjoy his work. He's probably one of the most humble writers in ratio to his talent. Please put your hands together for our good friend, Thomas Croneberger.
What's up, everybody?
What up, Thomas?
Having a good time?
Yeah, man.
Y'all are my people, man. I just want to say that. Y'all are my people.
You want a chair, Thomas?
No, I use the store.
Sure.
Yeah.
Use the chair, man.
Yeah, I use this. Okay, so I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of me, just some past, present, future type stuff. So, I'm gonna start with an old piece, and it's about where I'm from in Florida. Well, I'm not from there, but I lived there for a long time. You know, I'm from there. Alright, this one's called Polk County. Isolated on a busy street. Hey, why don't we meet on the corner? We can exchange drugs for money. It'll be sweet as honey. That's capitalism, trumping rationalism. It's funny. We all walk on the sidewalk in single file like dummies. I'd rather pick my own hand of cards. Rummy. The east side of my city wasn't so pretty, especially for a somewhat witty kid with an open mind, 21% on the unemployment line. Now that's a fit no one wants to drink. Couldn't drive a block without some signs of gunpoint theft. Meth was cooking in trailers. Black-hearted chefs were revered here, saviors, well-versed in chemical mind control, Xavier. They are producing new mutants every day, but not tubular turtles. Just little boys and girls rendered infertile. I saw my friend get arrested for being black after being slapped in the face. We both got the mace. We were young and buried by a district attorney's case. Isn't it supposed to be no child left behind? Yet they're all displaced. It seems Polk County has put $1 million bounty on truth in all of its forms. A democracy headed by a sheriff's department smells like bullshit to my ears. 10 years I spent in shitty schools. Where was the funding for that? Fools, oh yeah, it went to shutting down the trap domiciles, full of drug-dealing fiends and other various scum. Where I'm from, they leave 10 other trap houses running on the same street. So next week, they can reach their arrest quota. They gotta fill the 5 jails, 3 ran by our federal friends, 2 of them private, profit their only ends, disguise it. Then there's the prisons. So full of people labeled degenerates forever, never getting a second chance. They're all made to dance around their cells and their yards, rarely receiving Christmas cards of support. It would take me days to complain about the court system. Oh, he has money? Then he's the victim. Get straight to the punishments. Inflict them. Give that man his last meal. Stop his heartbeat with science. 10 months later, we found out that his defiance was justified. A witness lied, but the detectives sometimes have a fucked up directive. To find someone responsible. Not even realizing that the rush in itself is not responsible. I thought I was having some good times being married to Florida. Got jumped from my shoes on a few occasions. Violence and crime on the news wasn't new, but a few of us snuck out. Over the barbed wire fences of past decisions, through a tunnel in the grass, trapping friends lost. The end cost of being born in places like these, where you can die or fall behind with ease. And it starts at the top, at the Capitol buildings that are only used to build capital, one of the most factual statements you'll ever hear. It's just a sick, money-filled cycle, and I hope the end is near.
Word. Hold on. Hang on. All right, bro. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this one is a little bit oppressive. This is kind of me a little bit. I like this one. I never read it before either, so here goes. It's called Genuine. I genuinely don't know who I am, except maybe on a few fronts. I'm a genuine procrastinator, so ask me later. I'm genuinely interested in history, music, literature, art in all its forms. Sometimes I feel like I'm being torn between 2 worlds. One genuine, the other so artificial I can taste it. Time, I waste it. Let's face it, I'm genuinely excited by commonalities. I guess my personality isn't too inviting. I get genuinely depressed at times due to my lack of apparent self-confidence. Genuinely cognizant of others and their feelings, genuinely not appealing to most, but I boast that this genuine ghost has lost a feeling in my heart. So I genuinely hate to start arguments. I'd rather have genuine conversations with people who have the patience to listen, genuinely on a mission to burn money, and not by spending it, by bending it until the world can't see it anymore. I genuinely adore kindness and the other things that are priceless. Genuinely have vices, genuine madness entices me. I'm genuinely unprepared and genuinely unaware about it. Genuinely love a genuine green plant. Seems like I can't go without it. Genuinely curious, genuinely furious, minus the fast. Genuinely passionate about the past. I'm genuinely vast in my mind. Over time, I've become genuinely jaded. Genuinely incarcerated for my rebelliousness. Genuinely elated and genuinely faded on Friday night to take away all the lights. And there I am, genuinely alone. I have grown used to it, genuinely abused the pith, and I'm genuinely frozen stiff in my joints. Genuinely don't remember my point. Overall, I guess that if anything, I'm genuinely lost, tired, excited, invited, shunned, genuinely the one who doesn't get approached. Genuinely upset that good girls are poached by bad guys. Like to say genuinely mad fly, but that would be a lie. I'm genuinely passionate. I genuinely get after it when I decide to. I've tried to become someone else, It genuinely didn't help. I genuinely care, and I genuinely stare at beautiful masses interpreted by my perceptions. I guess in the end, I'm genuinely weak. I seek interpretations, approval, even though I scold others that do the same. I'm genuinely lame and genuinely scared that I won't ever be anything to anyone. At least not anything genuine anyways.
Wow.
Alright, and this third one right here, I wrote this on my phone during some Black Lives Matter protests here in Norfolk and Virginia Beach. Some people I know, Kate and other people, were out there with me, so I wrote this kind of on that day. I was kind of feeling this way. So. I've been sick lately of the constant stress because I'm making less than what's required to start a fire that others can see. The dollar bills are smothering me. Fuck! I've been sick lately of no one speaking consciously. An intelligent mouth opens, but the words on what you want them to be perceived as, or maybe you do, rhythmically spreading your flu just so you can watch others cough it back up. Yeah, I've been sick lately of Americans not having a clue. Their eyes are all glued to screens and forced ideals, feeding on false appeal because it's easier. I've been sick lately, and I know exactly why. Because I try to no avail to reach the stars in the night skies only to find that they're for sale. Price tags on everything, even ideas and dirt. If we gave up all that bullshit, would it even hurt? No, it wouldn't. Because then they couldn't chain us down societal norms and confuse us by creating storms that contaminate our water, not even bothered by the slaughter of Earth's people. I've been sick lately, and it's kind of getting worse.
Yeah.
There, so I'm gonna just end with this one. This is my future piece. So just end with this one. You know, lately something's kind of irking me. People, they've been jerking me around. They all say they found God. Well, I say that God is in the ground. She is the dirt. She is the words we speak. The birds who speak in song. God is the river and the pond. She is the sky. She is the wind. She is the eye that sees within. She is the storm. She is the tide. She is the friend who's by your side. She is the dancer with no music. God is everything and has no need to prove it. Form follows function. You see? She is the oxygen you breathe. She is your lungs. There isn't only one of her kind. God is the human mind.
Nice.
She is us. God is the trust we put in each other. God is the mother. She is the sun. She is the tendons when we run. She is the ones and the zeros. She is nuns and superheroes. God is good and God is bad. God is everything that we've ever had the pleasure of experiencing. She is love. She is sadness. She appears inside of madness. She is bread. She is water. Every drop there is to offer. She is the vastness of space. God is the will to keep pace. She is a lie. And she is truth. Inside the old and inside the youth. God is unpleasant. God is cute. God is me. God is you. So go make a universe.
Woo! Yeah. Thomas Croneberger.
All right, one more time for Thomas, everyone. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. I want to take a very short, quick time out before I introduce this next person. I want to draw attention to two individuals. These two individuals, no matter what is going on, they are at damn near every event that's held, whether they are performing in it or not. They are so supportive of the arts community. They're artists themselves, but I'm just very, very thankful that I can always count on these two people being here. And that's Jazzy Rue and Dave Rudeboff. So I wanted to thank the two of you. everybody ready for their next performer? Excellent, excellent. This young lady is probably in my top 5 favorite local poets. Phenomenal writer. I don't know if she realizes the influence that she has on the poetic community out here, especially to the women. She's very much looked at as a figurehead and a power female here in this poetry community and the arts community at large. So please put your hands together for Taz.
Look, I'm an emoji person real hard, 2 monkey faces. This first poem I wrote in the cadence. Have y'all heard Kendrick Lamar's new album?
Yeah.
The song You?
Yeah.
So the first poem I wrote to my mother in that cadence, and then it goes into the second poem. Dear Mommy, tonight I really wish I could put my head on your thigh. I cry when I'm happy too. And I want to tell you that I saw this poet on TV and she read my stuff and really liked it. She emailed me and everything. I want to tell you this young girl I admire is going to help me get published. I want to tell you I'm going to be in this art show with my paintings. My drawing on window sills and walls was never in vain. I want to tell you I'm doing an interview and photos for this dope website. I want to tell you that I'm nervous about all of it. I want to tell you I got to try to be what I told you I was going to be. I want to tell you how tired I really am. I want to tell you that I miss the smell of your cooking. Sometimes I nail it though. I want to tell you my kids ask about you and I tell them how dope you were. I want to ask you about my father. I want to ask you about your mother. I want to tell you that I get so lonely it hurts. I want to tell you why I had to stop celebrating holidays. I want to tell you how much evil I've seen. I want to tell you how close I've got to feeling love. I want to tell you that I love you. I miss you. Other people's mamas love me now, though. I want to tell you that I've met some amazing people since you've been gone. They don't know how much I care. I'm so awkward now. I want to tell you so many things, but really, I just want to share a joint with my favorite girl and lie my head on your thigh till I fall asleep. Relentlessly, I pursue life in fairy tale dreams, what they call them. Borrowed time for the non-believers. Those people are just going to die complaining. The men with blue balls and too many curses on their lips, and women with dropped uteruses and alopecia hidden under wigs, while I may ascend with a smile on my face, genuinely shocked that I made it to heaven, to the sublime, to that big yoga mat in the sky, find peace next to Biggie and give my moms a high five because I can talk about sex now. Somehow this seems possible. You will not take God from me, nor heaven, or the idea that I will get there and meet them. I ain't never did shit for no reason. I'm trying to live righteous. Not saying I need no validation for virtue shit. I'm just trying to be around the like-minded. The pursuit of happiness, I believe, but then again, what is my own happiness to anyone but me? Jesus, Shaka Zulu, Mandela, Martin, Trayvon, my brother's best friend Justin, Granddaddy Still, Pop, Malcolm, Marvin, Pac, shit, take me to the king, anyone. Pop, Cleopatra, Maya, take me to Billy, married to Harriet, to my mother, her mother, and my godmother. Take me to that girl Star who I know parents beat her to death. Take me to the babies, all those babies. I know the Queen's quarters is filled with joy. There is a heaven. I won't be denied that dream, that idea, that pursuit. Relentlessly, I pursue life in fairy tale dreams, what they call them. Borrow time for the non-believers. Those people are just gonna die complaining. Let me die singing and them singing about me. Let me be quenched and full and whole, not necessarily holy. I just want to be happy, but don't mind me if I say hallelujah. I don't feel peculiar nor strange. I know that God was inside that pink moon. I know I'm alone because some people never really give it their all until they find themselves center stage, and I'm unafraid. Ma, we in the building, 100.
Peace.
Sneak this in. She wakes up the hair case on the pillowcase. She washes her hair and it falls out on her shoulders in the suds. She picks the hair out and it rips and it shreds. left scattered on the bathroom sink. The mind don't control the body. If it did, this wouldn't be her reality. Every day she tells herself she isn't sad, that she isn't tired. She tells herself she isn't damaged, but she will heal. Every day she hears she is strong. Every day she hears she is beautiful. Every day she adds ornament to hide battle wound. Every day she defends armor. I am natural, she screams internally at their glaring naps, their judging crowns. Shea butter scented sneak disses fill her vision. It's almost as if she can feel each follicle give up one by one. Her shield protects her. The mane of a lion she prefers. Its pride suits her, makes her feel stronger. This stress not controlling her appearance. Her mind knows that they can't see this and keeps up her smile. Absorbs their stares and answers their questions about black beauty. She is their black beauty. They're dark and lovely. She is their example. Her conscious struggles with guilt of knowing her body was not healed from being that poor kid or her stepfather being sent up the road. Each hair falls and reminds her of New York, reminds her of cold water and potatoes, reminds her of May 3rd. The patches speak of the night he tried to kill her, of the night she filled herself with poisons and greed. Unseen to them, ornament covers new growth. Pride adorns her hopefulness. A dresser full of oils and creams to heal a battle wound that won't scab. You didn't know that. You just talked about her weave. Destruction put hands on me. I didn't see it coming, was not running, was not cunning, got my ass whooped all my 20s, not listening to mama will hurt you. Look how cold it gets in winter, how hot it gets in summer. She means to break you. It's no coincidence, there's no escaping it, predestined that I would self-destruct. Pick self back up, construct like resurrection, rebuild to be reborn. There is some truth in every story, the writer has his own. I said destruction put its hands on me, shook me from the balls of my feet to my wisdom teeth, shook my faith, shook my hope, shook my pride, shook my ego. How you gonna be your own hero when they took you in your cape? I said destruction put its hands on me, put its words in me, put its fears in me, put hate in me, left me bitter. Some shit just make me mad, but they tell you, don't say that. Destruction, it put its hands on me, broke down, lost parts. Left me the places I can't get back to. I'm wreckage like salvage, salvation. Yes, I'm asking for saving. From whom I do not know. Bless this land, water, and my babies. Something in the heavens made me. Everything is born from an explosion. Destruction made us stars. Destruction put its hands on me. But I took it like a G. Almost there, but no enthusiasm from me. Survival's guilt, what Kendrick calls it. Destruction put hands on me. My bruises don't show no more. I ain't got no scars, no violins, no harps, just my weed. They tell me to stop, but I'm saying destruction put its hands on me. I have stuff to say.
Yeah.
Usually comes out like rant. I've heard it called poetry. I just want to inspire. I aspire to greatness, perspire from the cadence, my lateness in getting there only an afterthought on darker days. My pen writes light praises up high anyway. I came to speak a poem. I had to write it first, guide it first, give it life, make it rise, pumping the blood that rushes from my brain, feet, and heart through the eyes. The hardest part, I had to feel it, push out ism, make words, make love, that is the art, sets apart the scribes and prophets from those who scribble and drive for profit. My only benefits are gaining interest and intentions, and it should go without mention, but yes indeed the connections, my brown nose is only about complexion. I set precedents with my projection. I ain't never seen a mic that could stand me. I like how necks bends, but this anime do more more than sing songs. I'ma spit it through these two lips, and I know how to use them like Tina Turner with those legs. I'ma kick it. Party in El Segundo upon my next visit. I gotta get it. I got to get it. Keep Q-tips for your ears, regardless. I'm explicit, often prolific. In my dialect, you will detect third world and reefer. I speak the ghetto, pragmatic thinker. I'm all my brother's keeper. I'm all my sister's healer. My soul screams Soweto. You ain't never seen realer since a receipt for my weave. 28-inch Brazilian, but she a Guyanese. New York skyline alive inside of me. Portsmouth nightlife right behind the scenes. Norfolk like next to kin. Every nook and cranny took me in. You are basking in my history every time my mouth opens. Yet and still they ask me is Weysweete my real name or if Taz is short for the devil. I tell them my name came from the cane fields and Lucifer ain't never been on my level. I came to speak this poem. I'm gonna use the voice of God. Cause God is a woman, honey, like Sheila told Darius while Nina looked on. Catch why in my bones. My mother's fire is not for little girls. I'm a flower, no wonder I wear rosaries. Keep your pearls. Seafood don't turn me on. Man, I came to speak this poem because I see you, you see through, and you need to be colored in. Meet me at the counter, we can discuss it then. I know your rights, and all of them matter. Silver spoons are more for whipping and bedtime and babble. Heaven is upon you. Maybe that's why they call it angel's dust. I trust you get the drift and not the drip. I told you, I see you, but I'm talking to this poem now. And somehow I think you think that there is more to it than that. Maybe for you, but not for me. I'm just getting free, relaying what I've seen, trying to unhurt me. My words used from muse more than I'm used to, like I amuse you. My words proven useful for inspiration. Viral like influencer with the influential information, but I do mean to inspire. So I can't say nothing but peace to you when you tell me my piece on pain is fire. Just smoke a L and retire, cause I'ma say my poem, my history, my testimony, my lessons. Only second guessing my wrath cause I care. Only clenched on to my last cause I didn't know who or what was gonna love me at almost there. Each poem written so vividly and now. And here I stand strong, so aware. Present in my gifts, stuff on my mind. Happiness in the midst. Shit, I just said that poem.
Yeah. Pause.
I feel like but I've just been writing a lot lately. I'm gonna just close with this. I said, I was a girl today. That shit was hard. I was like, shit, man. You know, cause girl shit. I'm not good at it. This stranger. He said, what's your name in the orange?
Vaughn.
Vaughn? Her name Vaughn.
Okay.
This stranger, he said my attack looked unrehearsed and natural. Like the first time you read your best book in its best chapter. Better yet, like I'm a disgraceful beast, light on my feet, ready to feast. Eyes like daggers, swagger like danger, carnal vernacular, immersing battle. He watched me grapple huge ideas and concepts and dissect them down to lines and stanzas, toils and verses. He said he liked my curves, shit. Sway how my words sway from figure eight and flow, from flow to prose is sexy. Said the pout on my lips is powerful, especially when I pucker. I could sucker him in, but he knows the sharp jaws are winner for the breath I need to spit, and it come out explosive, come out in doses. Couldn't control it if he wanted to, and he wanted to. Said I want to make him pull a stool to the stage and just rain an umbrella. Say when I rain, I spark like thunder and sprinkle out every letter. Wordplay vexing. Had him contemplating the next thing I might say before he starts guessing. I take it to the left because punchlines ain't right for this. Say when I open on the mic and shit, I leave the room open like the skies and shit. Recite metaphor that resound like ocean, quake through you like tsunami. My prose rip like wave off my lips. My spit is like a wet forehead kiss. The anointment of a wordsmith.
Yeah. Taz.
One more time for Taz, everybody. All right, so we got two more features on the lineup. Is everybody still with me? Make some noise if you're with me. All right, excellent. So our next performer is a poetic mentor of mine of sorts. Somebody I really look up to quite a bit. Somebody whose art I, in every genre I admire quite a bit. And it's always a pleasure to be able to introduce this man. Please, please put your hands together for Jeff Hewitt.
Alright, so I'm just going to get my friend Kristen in so she can watch me perform because she's awesome. Everyone say hi to Kristen.
Hey,
Hi, Kristen.
She says hi, everyone.
Oh, we heard. That's cool.
She's in Philadelphia. She couldn't make it.
She's been here before, outside.
No.
Watching?
No.
Watching. Did you have her on the thing?
Oh, yes. She's been outside with me,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
When I was supposed to be inside, I was doing poetry. How is everyone?
Good, Jeff. How are you?
How are you? I'm fucking dying, man. I need to quit smoking and not get sick.
That's what shit out me.
I'm just gonna kind of traipse a little bit through my work. Some of these poems are older than you are. Also, love for Taz. I don't know how many years ago it was I saw Saul Williams perform for the first time, and it blew my fucking mind. And I went home and I was like, I want to write a poem like that, and I didn't. And then I wrote another poem trying to write kind of like him, and I didn't. And then I wrote another one, and it still wasn't really like him, but it was this poem. The break, beat, rhyme, inducing, all infusing nuance of our central organ defies the ruin of our tomorrow, where we are defined to fade and blur into history, cascade and merge with the mystery, the baseline building into infinite patterns upon matters of imperception based out or on, or that we will never have the illusion that we were meant to live forever and ever and ever, that we would never sever the tether that binds our souls to memory. But we are temporary. And this is necessary. The alto-soprano of our nervous system harmonizes with the tenor of our ego, dueling simultaneously with a boom, boom of id. Age strikes the ivories, composing the song, comprising a requiem, eventually. Perhaps our irrational fear of endings is based out of some primordial recollection of incompatibilities from the mist out of which we sprung, nothingness and silence, until the universe arose out of irreconcilable differences between life and death. The Big Bang, a shotgun wedding where the groom bolted and the bride ran away to the moon, tossing the rings into Saturn's icy remorse. Vows drawn together, now flung galaxies apart, gifts left unopened in the ballroom, the marriage license revoked with an invocation. Let there be light. And there was. Our hearts are so much larger than the sum of our parts. Left unchecked, they loom, massing into declarations epic in proportion, minor symphonies of unchecked grandeur, where I could tell you that my love is greater than the moon, and you would ask, what of the stars? And I could tell you that my love is greater than the stars, and you could ask, what of the sky? And I could tell you that my love is greater than the sky, but you would shrink away, unable to grasp a thing so large, so infinite in conception. Am I moving too fast? spiraling through layers upon layers of cognitive existence and subconscious resistance, flinging through the universe past the speed of thought, past the speed of Mercury, past the speed of Mars, past Callisto, past Pandora, past Ophelia, past Chiron's gilded edge, spying God, riding Halley's comet, crying, "Hi, ho, silver, away," on his way past. Am I moving too fast? 'Cause this break, beat, rhyme-inducing, all-infusing nuance of my central organ is confusing with the boom, boom of my id. The bass line pulsing, convulsing, counting down to the moment where the end reconciles with the beginning. And we will extinguish into one another. I'm going to turn the volume down so I can hear you. How old are you guys do? She's a little cute and you got another gown. I spied great pools of desire in your eyes, leapt forth to discover their hidden depths. Finding only empty space, I broke every bone in my body. And some say that Cupid has a second, separate personality, whose name is Stupid. He wears an overcoat to hide his wings and wields not a bow, but a mallet, which he uses to strike his victims senseless. They say that when two fall in love, it is the work of Cupid. But when one falls in love, well,
come on,
that's stupid. Of course, they also say that love makes the world go round, that love is a many-splendored thing, that love conquers all, and that when the moon hits the sky like a big pizza pie, that's when it's time to run! Run away as fast and as far as you possibly can! Save yourselves! Grab a rocket launcher and blow that motherfucker out of the sky! I say, fuck love! Cupid, I am coming for you. Your bow cannot save you. I will tear you down from the sky and beat you senseless. My hands around your throat. I will stare deep into your eyes at the last moment of consciousness and scream, "Die, motherfucker! Die!" I saw you yesterday in a bookstore. For a moment, everything was perfect. I wanted to fall to my knees, prostrate before you, rip open my chest, reach past bone and sinew, tear loose this still beating heart, hold it forth as an offering, cradled in these bloody hands. But memory surfaced like bile, spilling out of my lungs, into my throat, transforming unto a whisper. Please. Love me.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. We're with you, bro.
I have issues with God. I recently I posted a comment on something that kind of keeps coming back to me. I said something along the lines of it would be a bad idea to leave me alone in a room with God. I recognize not everybody does, and I recognize some people love God, and I mean no harm to you. This is Christopher Hitchens' paraphrase of a 16th century poet, and the paraphrasing of the original line is something along the lines of, "We were made sick and commanded to be well." That kind of sums up my thoughts on that. But it's complicated. This is called God as a Word. A little bit of tea. We build houses holy with ideation, haunted by the midnight morning of our moribund mountain minds. Cloister in forbidden antechambers, lined with stained thought glass. Parley in pristine prayer patterns, fashioned of riled and relentless reason. Tender and gauzy we move blind along braille-powered railroads of untamed want, foolish desire fashioned from the coursing current of our wild imaginations, harrowed and high, strung out on hostels and heresy. We hide mighty hearts, unruly, unrulable, but we are all of us lost without language. We are lost without language. And so stumbling, we seek overwise counsel, drafted in the unlikely form of an unapproachable Father God. But God is not a person. God is a word, an invocation, an evocation, an intonation. God is a word, an epigraph, an epithet, an epiphany, a eulogy. God is a word, scrawled out on the tattered backs of our tear-stained eyelids. God is universe, vast and utterly without rudder, rhyme, nor reason. No hand to frame the fearful symmetry. An unending void we fill with meaning through utterance, through the blinding beauty of letters, of punctuation, of pause, ebbing and flowing into words, building intricate sentences, erupting erupting volcanoes of passionate paragraphs, erecting staggering pages upon pages, channeling chapters until there are whole volumes of purpose, the divine wrath of anciently arcane sound and symbol, the true holiness of communication through which we pry open the shuttered windows of each other's minds, glimpse the high illumination of sympathy, of understanding, of compassion, that when I say this, you know I mean that. And when you say that, I know you mean this. How could God ever possibly be a person? God is a word. God is Star Wars. God is Yoda. God is Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. Princess Leia and Han motherfucking Solo.
Come on.
God is Kermit the Frog and Fozzie Bear. God is Miss Piggy. God is Gonzo. Gonzo like Hunter S. Thompson. Like the Hells Angels. The Great White Shark. God is fear and God is loathing. God is Nixon. God is Ronald Reagan. God is George Bush, the father and the son. God is Barack Obama. God is Osama. And for now, for one brief tragic moment, God is Charlie Hebdo. God is 3 years old, terrified of the man with the gun. God is her mother, faced with the terrible choosing between her only child and the men she loves. The frightful calculus of relationships, the awful math of violence through the barrel of the politic. God is not a person. God is a word. God is Biggie Smalls and Karen Carpenter. God is Mama Cass and Tupac Shakur. God is Kurt Cobain and Ernest Hemingway. God is the shotgun falling away from their shattered, beautiful faces. God is their unendurable sadness, the wives, the children they left behind. God is Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown. God is George Zimmerman and Darren Wilson. God is bullets racing through Portland air, the smoke and fire. God is the crack of gunshots ricocheting, the sliver of space between life and breath. Between the sliver of space between the life and breath that could not reach Eric Garner's desperate lungs. God is not a person. God is a word. All words. Every word. God is fuck. God is shit. God is cock and cunt and glorious cum. God is a word. God is a word. God is a word. So fuck your ridiculous notions that God is a face we dare not draw, a syllable we may not utter, a song we are forbidden to sing. Fuck your unimaginably tiny dictionary of the divine, your pale and paltry vocabulary for celestial truth. Fuck your Jehovah. Fuck your Allah. Fuck your Muhammad. Fuck your Buddha, your Atma and your Brahmin. Fuck your stinking Hare Krishna. Fuck your thug with a big stick. Your do what I say or else. I choose else every time. Bow to nothing and no one. God is not a person. God is a word. And your God is a fraction. I refuse to worship in such a small house with a God that is not love but submission. No, I will not flinch. We dare not fail. Now is the hour of contempt, to stand and say, no, we will not be silenced. So let us commune. We happy few. We proud poets, fitful and fallen under the tyranny of an unforgiving sky, bound in the fallen firmament of too frail dirt. Let us live in the glory of the words, forever and ever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
One more time for Jeff Hewitt. All right. Is everybody ready for your last poet of the evening? All right. We are super super happy and excited and privileged to have this young lady performing with us. An absolutely powerful, powerful poet. Not that anybody before her wasn't just as powerful, but every time I see her perform, I walk away with A, a very hungry pen, and B, a head full of ideas. So please, please welcome to the stage our last performer of the evening. Let's hear it for Lady S.
After that last performer, I really don't want to do this. But I'm too sleepy to even try to remember anything else. So it's what I told myself I was going to do. This is a really old piece, and I played around with it. It's titled Confession. I got a confession, see. I've been stressing and asking questions of your blessings like, what profession is the right one for me? How long do I take off from poetry to raise my family? See. Then I thought back before the beginning, figured out the world that I was supposed to live in, did some soul searching, a little rehearsing, asked around, and I found that I found your word, which I seen was poetry. I jumped in the clouds, said it was for me, and went to earth. And on earth I found something profound, see. I turned in my gift as I shop thrift for already used ways that pays the bills, and my blood spills. For I lust and I lie, from coffee to man, I blame others for your magical delight. So tonight, I confess in front of those who sometimes blame you. I tell them that I still claim you, my God, for thou art with me. You follow me day after day, looking down in dismay, wondering why I'm so unhappy. I have a mother who needs a pappy. When you're there, life is clear. I'm whistling, never whispering of your glory. I give story after story without pain and misery. I proclaim, I still believe in thee, my God. What a wonderful thing. This is another old piece. After this, I'm going to hit y'all with something new. I get away from the old pieces and I come back to them, and I was sitting in Chick-fil-A and I was thinking about what to do for a feature. It's been a while since I did a feature, and this lady came up to me talking to me, and she whispered to me that her child was black. It was obvious to me, but because she had to whisper that her child was black and that some people think her child is Italian or Hawaiian, I have to do this for her child wherever she is and wherever she ends up at.
Moving the mic. Just myself.
This is for all who look that they might be part Asian, Haitian, African, or white. Some people look at you and it's just not right. Look at you like your face is blue with their nose turned up and say, what are you? Well, I tell them, I am a human being. I am a soul to glean. You will not accept black nor white, so I am everything in between. Okay. I am proper speaking. I am education seeking, but when caught in a blunder, I'm told that my fist feel like thunder.
Come on.
I am the American dream. I kept record and I enslaved myself. I burnt my wealth. Yes, you guessed it. To keep it from myself. American poetry writer. I am an American freedom fighter. I am an American freedom fighter. I am the one who walked with Martin. Don't you hear me singing? I am a Native American and I am an Irishman. I am an atheist. I am a Jew. I am a Christian, but exactly what are you? I see that you've put me on the spot, so I'm going to tell you what I'm not. I am not the Grim Reaper. I can't cause you to die. I am not a tear duct. I can't cause you to cry. I am not a brother, but more like a daughter. I am simply all that I can be, although not in the U.S. Army. I am a freedom fighter. I am not the one to push the replay button, but the one to put your mind on pause. I am the one to leave you bleeding and then wrap you up in gauze, because the truth is, I'm just a simple human being. But the question is exactly, what are you? It's getting late, so I'm gonna just wrap it up real quick. Is my baby asleep back there? Yes. All right. I was practicing this, and he asked me, was it his story? And it is. So this is titled, I'm Sorry. This is to my black son. Baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you look north, you never look south. I'm sorry that you talk so loud, you know your mama has a mouth. I'm sorry that you grabbed your crotch before you knew what it was, and that I taught you your penis was a penis before you knew what it does. I'm sorry that when someone says, hey handsome, you turn around. I'm sorry that I raised you as a prince before your feet hit the ground. Right. Will you ever forgive me, baby? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you speak to everyone when we travel to the store, and even more. It reminds me of a young Emmett Till, so even though I'm not racist, I still cry out, baby, don't speak to her. I'm sorry that you have so much swagger in your little suits. And even though I didn't name you Martin Luther, you meditate like one. You gravitate towards the sun. I'm sorry that you have that curly hair and that little gap between your teeth. It reminds me of a young Malcolm X and that wide nose. Yes, that wide nose. I don't know what's next. I'm sorry. You will look like Trayvon Martin wearing a hoodie in the rain. I'm sorry that in this world little black boys are slain and that they seem to scare George Zimmermans over every century so much. I'm sorry that this world is so out of touch. So when you walk, they will see a big black man, and when you talk, they will see a big black man. So the world has told you time and time again that even if you turn water into wine or resurrect the dead, they will hang you on a cross and stab thorns into your head. Baby, I'm sorry that there are still racists, that the Ku Klux Klan still exists, that people still live by Jim Crow, and that little black boys commit mass suicide by helping them to commit mass genocide. Baby, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you look less like a lawyer or a CEO and more like an inmate. Or a rapper that refers to every woman as a hoe. But the way you sing, you remind me of a young Michael Jackson. And like him, the eczema has caused leopardous spots across your skin, which proves to me that you're my tiger. But like him, I hope you don't have to bleach the rest of you to fit in, baby. I'm sorry. You will be judged by the color of your skin, and people are more likely to ask you, hey, where do you play football at than your political party, baby? I'm sorry. But most of all, I'm sorry that I raised you to be a king. But you have to understand, it's the only way that a queen knows to raise her little man. I got the whole book, right? So, this is titled Beauty. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and she just wanted him to hold her. Hold her like lovers' lips hold kisses in moments of forever. Hold her like mothers hold infants, and when asked, when are you going to put him down, they say, never. She wanted him to hold her like he held the shadow of her silhouette in his mind. She wanted him to hold her like he held hands, like the hands on the clock held time. Ticking, 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 she wanted him to hold her. But no one ever told her that beauty was in the eyes of the beholder, so he held her by implanting assets into her assets, coming into her inbox and giving her shots to the face, hoping that she would taste the foul ignorance that rioted from within. But since she was used to this treatment from men, she still asked for him to hold her. But she was beauty. Benevolence beyond belief enhanced his existence and enjoyed it enough to stay around. She was the A-list in this town. She was unique and unadulterated. If you were a girl, you wished you had it, and if you were a guy, you wished she gave it. T, little T, because of him, she was a little tainted. And why? Why is for yesterday. Because yesterday was the last day she convinced herself he loved her. Because she asked him to hold her, and he began to scold her about the things he once told her were beautiful, like tight dresses and shorts that showed her inner thigh. And when she asked why, he explained he gained pleasure from other women dressing this way, but she was property without permission to play. So she began to go astray, wandering away from the beliefs of yesterday. So he lost her. He lost the only chance he had with beauty. And while he continues to defile Bodacious and Erica, Angela and Uniqua, and even Temptation and Yolanda, he will never again get that close to beauty. and all she wanted him to do was hold her. But beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so he couldn't hold her when he couldn't find enough beauty within to hold him.
All right, one more time for Lady S, everyone.
So did everybody have a good time tonight? Everybody feel like they learned something? Your soul been moved? Excellent. I want to give a round of applause to Miss Patty Ray, who gives us this amazing place to play. I want to thank all of my features tonight. Make some noise for them. Audience, make some noise for yourselves. You were a great crowd. I appreciate every last one of you. And I'm going to leave you with this. It's a poem by Muhammad Ali. It's one of my favorite poems. Me, we.
Yay!
Good night.